So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And Austin is on all of the top travel industry's list of top 10 places to visit in 2021. Part of the have to be there destination vibe is the art scene. So can you guys tell us a little bit about what's happening in Austin right now?
There's a lot of stuff happening in Austin right now. The big part of what we're involved in is sort of the redefining of the brand of the city from live music capital of the world to the immersive art capital of the world, because there's just so much of it happening here now. It's what we do. It's what we've been doing for a long time. We produce events, and then we also have pop-up experience that we have been doing around town for the past year. And yeah, I mean, with South by doing what they did for the past few decades, and with Austin being as lively and vibrant of a city as it is everybody's moving here now. And now that the pandemic is sort of coming to a close, things are really picking up in a whole new way, that like the momentum of the city is it's at a new level. Even though it felt like it's been going crazy for a long time, right now it really feels like, the city is on fire in a good way. And we're really going to see some interesting and then fun changes here over the next few years.
Yeah, I think we just looked at the population went up from 980,000 to almost 2 million people within a year, which is crazy. So everyone's coming here, it seems. So it's definitely a hot place to be.
Everybody's leaving California.
I guess so.
I mean,
up their U-Hauls.
there's no state income tax in Texas, so Californians like that. I mean, they are upping our housing prices, but I mean, again, I said it earlier before we went live that there's 503, literally it's 503 people on average a week moving into Austin. And if you really do the math on that, that's like an incredible number. Like you guys said, we're almost at 2 million or whatever now. But those people are coming to Austin. They have money and they're hungry to design their homes and buy art. And so that's where we all come in.
Hire a publicist.
Entertainment, and that's where we come in.
Yeah.
And Sam, can you give us a little bit about what's going on in Austin as well?
I mean, we work with, we're a lifestyle PR agency. So we hit all the aspects of the ways that you can gauge how the city has changed. I mean, we work with restaurants, we work with retailers, we work with architects. Architects are incredibly busy, obviously, because a lot of people are moving here, and because this is a creative city that attracts a creative class, they're looking for something kind of specific too. People who come here are looking for, something that's, a certain aspect of design, or they have specific tastes, so I think that's something that we're noticing, is that this used to be kind of a sleepy, maybe a little edgy, fun, artistic town back in the 90s or 70s, 80s and 90s. And now it's become more sophisticated, and there's definitely a different, there's more people, but they also maybe have expanded tastes. And so more restaurants, more galleries, more, more things to do, so it's definitely kind of changed the vibe in this town. And, a lot of the restaurants that you see here now, you wouldn't have seen in this town maybe 10, 15 years ago. So I think that, it's definitely, the change has been very rapid, and the pace at which that change has come, some people aren't exactly excited about it. There's definitely people who long for the days, the old days. But the scene here is definitely, it's exciting, and there's a lot of new and interesting things going on, just by the sheer fact that it attracts experiential. It used to be just going down the street and seeing a naked guy on a bike was how you had experiential art in Austin. But now people are actually creating these moments that you can experience, and there's a narrative attached to them, and it's an artistic experience, as opposed to some of the more interesting characters, which they're still here. don't get me wrong.
Funny.
But that used to be, you know, the Austin experience, the artistic experience, if you will. But now that's changed. And so it's exciting for someone like me because I get to appreciate, you know, I get to appreciate film, and I get to appreciate, you know, visual art, and but I also get to engage and represent businesses that are doing really interesting, kind of groundbreaking, or at least, you know, creative things in a lot of different spaces, like food and like beverage and retail, fashion, design, etc.
So Todd, tell us a little bit about your gallery. It's AO5, right?
That's right.
And,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
well, I was going to say, has your art changed over the last 15 years, or, you know, or are you representing the same artists? Is it changed because more people are coming into, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And it's a really big question, and I'll explain why, and I'll keep it really short because I'm long-winded. In 1998, Art on Fifth was on Fifth Street. And I used to go do vintage poster weekends there because I ran a gallery in Houston. I would drive to Austin and do these vintage poster weekends. And I met the guy who started Art on Fifth, my friend Joe. And throughout the years, I ended up moving overseas. I was in Australia and I was in Norway. I was working for Global Fine Arts and in all these different countries, and it was wonderful. But I came back to the United States in 2013. And the owner had moved the gallery from Fifth Street to South Lamar, where we are now. We're in the 78704, as you know, everybody calls it the 04, the South Side, where I used to lock my doors in the 90s driving through town. And now it's like sort of this, one of the ideal places to be. We're right next to the Broken Spoke, like 2 blocks from the Broken Spoke. Anyway, long story short is that he kept the name Art on Fifth on South Lamar, and the branding wasn't working. We got 15 phone calls a day, people saying, "Where are you located? My Uber driver's kidnapping me. This is Bone Collector," you know, just crazy things. And so I changed the brand to AO5 because I figured I could do AO5 Dallas, AO5 New Orleans, AO5 Indianapolis, which is actually a very cosmopolitan city now, which is happening all over the world. So I had to let a lot of artists go that were part of Art on Fifth Street. Because, you know, Fifth Street, there's a lot of galleries on 5th and 6th Street West area that are a bit bougie. Some are really cosmopolitan, some are really cool, but there's a vibe of, you know, the art galleries in that area. And here we are on this funky South Side, and I had to change it up a bit. And I brought in Jermaine Rogers, a Houstonian, Texan, very popular for his concert posters and whatnot, flat stock and all those things. And I started bringing in artists that I had met around the world. Like when I was in Egypt or when I was in Argentina, I brought in artists from around the world. So AO5 has become an international art gallery and the largest contemporary art gallery in Texas. But I brought in Austin people, Houston people, Texans. I brought in US and around the world. So the art's changed a lot. To get finally to answer your question, I needed you to see the evolution of why I had to change it. And I had to make it where I don't even let my employees dress nice at work. That's changed in Austin too. Celebrities come in trying to hide, and then they feel welcome. I play really loud music in the gallery so people don't hear their footsteps, and they can talk. If they don't like something or do like something, they can actually talk. I made it very casual and comfortable. And yeah, the art's changed a ton. I have an Israeli artist hanging next to a dead artist. I got Salvador Dali hanging next to a local guy who just started. And it's really exciting in there. And I love being different in the art world. There's not salespeople hounding you and vulturing you. It's just, you come in. A lot of people ask how much the admission is. They come in, they go, or even they say, "Can we come in?" I'm like, "We're like a Barnes and Noble, but we have art. Like it's a shop. Come in." And they're relieved that they're not being hounded, or there's not a salesperson asking how much money they've got and it's just people buy the art because it's every price point too. I've got things that are $25 to $250,000. I've got everything because I think art is for all people. And Austin is proof that it's all people. Austin doesn't have a class of people. It's just, I don't want to say it's a bunch of weirdos, but the fact that if you put random 5 people next to each other, it'd be weird because we're all so very different in Austin. And that's what I wanted the gallery to be like. So that's been my goal, and I did it.
Well, congrats.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
And tell us about Mesmerize, Clayton and Mateo. What's that painting behind you?
Oh, this is just we're in our office right now. This is just our front lobby area. So this is just a wall that we painted.
Plan I got crafty one day.
Um, yeah, so Mesmerize, we just closed down our pop-up location that we just had, and we're currently in the middle of relocating into a permanent location. So big plans there, here in Austin still. But Mesmerize started in the end of 2018 as an event series. We've been installation artists, and I come from a music background, and he comes from a video and photography background and projection mapping. And then we both have been in the production world of live events for a long time. So we started Mesmerize as an event series where we produce, we call them traveling dance party and art experiences. So they were big, heavily populated events with DJs and immersive art installations. And we would have a curated experience of live painters and an artisan vendor market. And from there, we sort of built the brand of Mesmerize. And those shows were going pretty well for our first year and a half or so. And then the pandemic hit. So we had to stop all activity in that regard and sort of reevaluate our situation. And the venue we were working with at the time allowed us to have a chance to sort of activate their open and empty event space. So we transformed their event space that they weren't able to use because it was the middle of the pandemic as well. And they gave us this, we sort of set a goal for, let's do something for 3 months and see if anything works. And so we spent last summer, just the two of us, like 14-hour days, just the two of us making and designing the concept, and then physically building the infrastructure for the layout, and then most of the art itself, as well as doing all of the electrical rigging for lighting, and the programming for projection mapping, and developing the storyline, all those things. And then we ran for 8 months, and it was a huge success for the community and for us. And so now we're working on relocating into a permanent spot.
That's awesome.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been
I'd love
great.
to check it out too.
For sure. Yeah, we're definitely still looking for a permanent location. And whenever we did open, at first we were like very hesitant because we were like, there's a pandemic happening. Who's going to come? And it took a little nudging on the owner, just like, well, what else are we doing? So he was like, well, even if we sell 1 ticket an hour, like it's better than what we're doing now. So we kind of just went in with that mindset of just like, we're not doing anything now, might as well create and see what the buzz is, and see how it turns out. And whenever we first opened up, it was 10 tickets an hour, and now or we just closed, but it turned into 15 tickets every 30 minutes and being allowed
That's
to
great.
have an hour into the space.
Can I ask you guys a question? I'm sorry to jump in.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Just because it's a kind of an Austin question, because we're all brothers in Austin and sisters in Austin. Where are you guys looking for a permanent location? I'm just curious because the neighborhoods are so. I remember when Austin was a tiny town in the 90s, and now we were considering relocating again, which is a whole subject. But where are you guys thinking about? Are you guys like, is there a place you really want to be but you can't, or what's going on with that?
Well, without revealing too much and jinxing ourselves, because we're still in the middle of trying to secure the actual location itself right now, but we're working on acquiring a very large building and plot on the east side, and it's a great location. And this is kind of our, for Austin location, it is kind of like a dream spot right now. It's a very big project for us, but at the same time, we did look at several other buildings around town in different neighborhoods that we enjoy. And, first off, things are just really expensive right now. So this is a whole new approach to our, everything that we do is just figuring out how to be in the position to actually execute the thing. If for whatever reason, we can't get this dream spot, we can always reevaluate and rebuild anywhere. The way that we come from an events background. So we're used to working in any building or any sort of space as our blank canvas.
Mhm.
So you guys are good. You're good at the drive. You know how to make it as I like to call AO5 gallery. It's a destination gallery. So There are people
Yeah.
that don't want to go south of the river, but they're going to have to come see my gallery.
Right.
And you guys are doing the same thing. Like you're going to be like a destination place. Like no matter where you guys go, they're going to come.
You
Basically.
need a benefactor with a giant building.
There you go.
Well, you know, that might be a possibility.
I mean,
Well,
it's
I can tell-
not far. It's right in the east side, so
Yeah, it's still
it's still pretty central.
inside the loop.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here I am, talking about Austin. I'm at my house in Houston. Houston, if I want to go, let's say to a bar, that's my favorite bar, I'm in the Galleria area and the bar is 7 miles away. It's like a hop, skip, and a jump. But in Austin, if it's 7 miles away, it's like, oh God, it's 7 miles away.
Yeah, we're from San Antonio originally, so it's the same thing down there.
Yeah.
Oh, and San Antonio will be,
Like,
you guys, San Antonio is going to be the new Fort Worth, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin. It's all
That's what it looks
connected
like.
now. And
Yeah.
half of my clients now are from San Antonio, Buda, the whole area, Buda, whatever it's called. I don't know. But yeah, San Antonio is dope for art, but it's coming up. I have a San Antonio artist in Austin that sells really well. And Austin people are like, who's this guy? Like, but it's turning into Austin. I love it. Anyway, I was just curious about you guys because I mean, Austin's neighborhoods are. I mean, I remember staying at this Holiday Inn in the '90s, close to Rainey Street, when Rainey Street was all houses, and people would wave at me when I was, driving through their neighborhood to get to Art on Fifth when it was on Fifth Street, and now Rainey Street, bars and whatnot. And
They just
Austin's
sold the
changing
last
somewhat.
house. They're demolishing the last house on Rainey Street. It was the one holdout guy. It's
The
gone.
one
now.
held out. Yeah, now he's got like millions.
Millions.
less than.
Millions.
Well, maybe that's the benefactor. Maybe he's got a big building somewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
Not like he
You
bought
see a
one.
lot of those guys around.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this, when we're ready to do our first art fair, we have 8 art fairs across the country, but none in Austin. When we're ready to go there, I'll talk to Clayton Mateo, you,
know
Oh.
Sam,
to
for
call.
the PR, and Todd to get some more galleries involved. We'll
Yeah.
put it all together at some point, but it's been nice
love it.
chatting with you guys today. It's been really
Yeah.
Yeah,
fun
thanks for having us.
getting
Thank
to
you
know
for
some
having me.
in-depth stuff about Austin, right, Anna?
Yeah, it's been great. I moved right before the pandemic, so I'm still kind of new here, but I feel like there's new people moving into the apartment across the street every single day for the last 2 weeks. Like U-Haul filling up. It's insane. So it's exciting though.
Well, hey, welcome to Austin for real.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
totally, all of you guys on the panel, I said you guys because I'm from Indiana, but I've been in Texas for over 20 years, I swear it. So all y'all, come to the gallery and meet me and say hi and let's all get together and let's do some Austin stuff together.
And we are,
Absolutely.
we are in the middle of relocating for our permanent location, but we will be producing mesmerize pop-up events every month throughout the end of the year. So, follow us on
That's
Instagram and keep in touch for all of that.
Yeah, that's dope. I'd love to be a part of that and join you guys and see what's up. I mean,
Our next one is
we've
soon.
all been
I'll be
starved to do
there.
things, for a year. So let's do some things.
Okay.
Thank you
Thanks
guys
for
so
joining
much.
us.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care, y'all.
Nice to meet all of you.
You too.
Bye.